So I was just talking with myself, um, going over my current feelings and what I've been uh, sort of afflicted with. And what I've been afflicted with is the unfaith that other people have had in facing me. So when they would see the faith that I would have, me actually just like exuding faith, basically, to love and to have an open mind, because you need faith to have an open mind, because if you don't have faith, then you're closed off, then you have a closed mind. um, and I had an open mind, and the people with closed minds saw that I had an open mind and didn't want me to continuously remind them of how closed their own mind was. So I was just going over the fact that I understand what it's like to be them now, to be afraid to have faith and to be afraid to keep my mind open to things. And now I know what it's like, and it's because I feel like if I love something personally for myself, and I I have faith in something, then I would be hurt again. But actually, what's true is that the more that I close myself off, the more I'm hurt, and the less I close myself off, the less I'm hurt. But it's like we think that there's safety in holding on. We think that there's safety in closing our minds and in doing this with ourselves and not having faith. But it's actually safety in having faith and letting go. And so it's like we've been hurt for having faith and loving things, and that has made us not have faith and then therefore not love things for ourselves, not openly love and exude our spirit. And exuding spirit is what you would need faith to open up, right? I have faith that I'm not going to fall through this floor right now. I still have faith in that. But then when like all of the things that I shared with people, like philosophy and like logic and like spirituality and just mysticism and all sorts of things, whenever I would share that with people, there would always be a little bit of doubt or skepticism, or if not outright blaspheming blaspheming everything I would say. So it's like other people have made it their goal to make me not have faith and close myself off like they are. So now it's worked, and I understand what it's like to be that kind of person now, which is really cool. That I understand what it's like not to have faith and to close myself off from the world. It's like I find myself needing evidence. What is evidence? Well, evidence is whatever is evident to you. And what's evident to you is relative to what to you. What's evident to you? What's evident to me might be different than what's evident to you. So therefore, my kind of evidence is different than your kind of evidence. Evidence. What is evident? The adjective for evident. I have evidence. I have evidence. I exude evidence of this sort of trait, of some sort of trait. So we're all looking for evidence. Do we even know what evidence means? We think, often I found that evidence, it's 11:11, Make-A-Wish, often there's evidence, or we think that evidence means so the evidence that we accept is evidence that's been like cited and documented by other people. So if a book doesn't have sources that are cited from other books and other people, then it's not seen as credible, and therefore it's not seen as like evidence for something being true, because we can't see with our own eyes. We need someone else to tell us, right? And that's, we need someone else to have faith in telling us something is true in order for us to actually let go ourselves. But it's like the only evidence we accept is like cited sources from other books, and then but then what about those books? Can you have faith in those? What if those books weren't cited? What determines what's credible and what's not? So it's merely just evidence is what is evident to you. When you ask, where's your evidence? I say, I don't know what your kind of evidence would be. So I can't tell you, because what's evident to you is different from what's evident to me. Where's my evidence? Where's your evidence? And then you tell me what kind of evidence you allows you to, what kind of evidence is personal to you, and then maybe I'll try to come up with that. Like, so it's all a joke, really. It's all a joke. And the fact that it's like we close ourselves off to the world because we're so afraid of getting hurt is like we're hurting ourselves in doing that. The straight road to hell is to try to avoid it. To try to avoid being hurt or change. And heaven is not being afraid of being hurt, is letting go. And you can't love anything if you don't let go. You can't have faith in anything if you don't let go. And it's not like saying, like, if I tell you to let go, you say, okay, let me try to let go in order to keep on holding on. Just like when I say, okay, try to get rid of desire, you say, okay, I'm going to desire not to desire. Yeah, it's all silly. It's all silly. For intuition, like, where is your evidence for your intuition? What do you mean? What do you mean evidence? What's evident to you is different from what's evident to me. And the amount of things that will be evident to you is to the degree that your mind is open. To the degree that your mind is closed, less things will be evident to you, and then therefore you're going to ask for more evidence. But you couldn't get any evidence from somewhere else unless you let something be evident to you. So you can never really be sure. How could you be sure? Am I sure that I am seeing this right now? Yep. Oh, I'm seeing the computer screen. Oh, there it is. That's evident. That's evidence. See, there's evidence. I don't need someone to write it down on a piece of paper and then show you. The evidence is right here. Whatever you want to call this. What's your evidence that the outside world and the inside world are one? What's your evidence? What's your evidence? I can't give you my evidence because what's evident to me is not evident to you. That's why you're asking me for evidence. So I could never give you any evidence that you require, because what you require is different from what I require for things to be evident. How is the inside world and the outside world the same? Well, that's merely, we figure this out through merely seeing. Seeing is believing. That's a little redundant. Just seeing is seeing. Could you ever separate your consciousness from what it observes? No. what your consciousness is, what your mind is what it observes. I think what your mind literally is what it observes. So again, to the degree that your mind is closed, that's how much evidence you'll need. Now, and then also, at the same time, that's how much will be evident to you. That's how much evidence you will have. But also that's how much evidence you will need, because you need evidence because it's not evident to you. But if you don't need evidence, then it's evident to you. Whatever it is. Virgil is represented in Dante's poem, The Divine Comedy. And Virgil represents human reason. And human reason gets you to heaven, but stops at heaven's gates. And then after heaven's gates comes Beatrice, which is divine love, which is basically faith. No reason. So but then what's reasoning to you? What's reasoning to you is different from what's reasoning to me. What do you mean logic? Logic. A lot of people without logic say that they have logic. So then what really is logic? What really is logic? People could say their kind of logic is that the world just is, that kind of, like the hard head, you just gotta work and keep your head down and become like everybody else. And that's just the way of life and logic. There's no other way. And that's evident to you. It's evident to you that you should just get back in line and shut up and keep your head down, because that's the degree to which your mind is open. So what's logic to you is based on what's evident to you. And what's evident to you is to the degree that you have faith. And to the degree that you don't have faith, you'll need more evidence, or less things will be evident to you. And if the less things are evident to you, then the different your logic will be. It's like, I was once at a sober living where it was like a one size fits all kind of thing, where every single person had to do the same thing. One size fits all. It's kind of stupid. And that kind of logic is a person who is based on a person who has their mind closed to a significant degree. To the degree that your mind is closed, the more your mind is closed, the more simple you'll be. And the less things will be evident to you, the less variation will be evident to you. So it's like college, like everybody should go to college. Everybody should do this. But that's not freedom. Going to college, it's high school, college, and then work. That's not really freedom. You got the freedom to choose. You got the freedom to choose what you want to do within what we want you to do. So you get the freedom to choose what majors you want in college, and then what jobs you want within the economy. But within that space, there is no all your choices are within the bubble of what is given. So in the same way, all of the things that are evident to you are within the bubble of which your mind is open or closed. If your mind is wide open, then most things will be evident to you. But if your mind is wide closed, because you have a lack of faith, then less things will be evident to you. And you'll think that black things are just black and white. Everything really is black and white. Everything really is different variations of black and white, different degrees to which black and white is. The I Ching is based on that. The I Ching is you need faith for the I Ching. It's I haven't really tried it out, but it's very accurate. All the Chinese businessmen, the successful people, use the I Ching, and that requires faith to consult a book and then make decisions based off that book. To have an intuition. All in science, we have the thought that we're biased against intuition, against just making a decision off of a whim. But don't we all use intuition? Even the scientists. You can study as much as you want. You can deliberate as much as you want. But then when the time comes to make that decision, you make the snap judgment. That's your intuition. So it's like you can make an intuition without any prior data considered on your conscious mind, or you can deliberate in your conscious mind for hours and hours and hours and think that you're making a sound judgment based on the data you're given. But then at the one point where your data is totally complete and you've gone over all the data, you make that snap judgment intuition based on what you have been given. So it's like, the question is, how long do you want to deliberate on things? Do you want to deliberate for half a second, or do you want to deliberate for longer? At the end, if we're all using our intuition. So it's like, it's much more efficient to trust your intuition right off the bat than to think about it. Because when you hesitate and think about it, that's when you make the wrong choice. Usually. Yeah. Yeah, so I know what it's like to be one of those people. To see someone who can think for themselves. And you simply can think for yourself only to the extent to which you have your mind open and you're not afraid. But you can't think for yourself because you're afraid. And then you see those other people who can think for themselves, and you want to blaspheme their spirit, which is unforgivable in heaven and earth, because you yourself don't want to see your own lies, how you're lying to yourself. I understand what it's like. It's like, I went for a stroll in the forest and I saw the intelligence of the trees, and I just forgot, the universe itself is intelligent. I just forgot about that. And to live that truth, it requires faith, a lot of faith, because what we've been taught is that there's no intelligence besides up here, and up here is a monkey mind, right? So the universe is basically stupid. But you know what we project onto the universe, we also project onto ourselves. Because we're in the universe. So if we project that the universe itself is stupid, then we project ourselves are stupid as well. But the only reason why we project that the universe is stupid is because we think we're stupid in the first place. But which came first, the chicken or the egg? or just both popped up? Which came first? You became depressed because of something, or the serotonin in your brain went down? Both happened at the same time. So it's like the whole of psychiatry is just thrown out the window at that point. It's like, well, shit, you're right. It's like filling you up with more chemicals won't affect anything if you're still traumatized by a certain event, or if you're saddened by the loss of a loved one, or whatever else. But yeah, I know what it's like to be faced with your own lies, to see your own lies, and to just want to face it. You have your pride, your instincts want to run away from it. Your instincts want to hide from the truth of what you've been lying to yourself about. So when you see the truth and you know, yeah, I've been avoiding this in myself, your instinct is to avoid it. And the people who have gone so far down the line in this life will go to far lengths to suppress someone else who is living a truth that you're not letting yourself live. That's why people in darkness want to suppress someone else's light, because someone else's light is reminding them of exactly what they themselves are suppressing for no reason. So it's funny. It's like us humans are a funny bunch. But of course, it takes one to know one.